mentions sovereignty, it says Allah made you sovereigns. It doesn't say that Allah made sovereigns among you. This is very significant because when we read Surah Ayat Khilafah, there also the whole people are addressed as Khalifatul. وَعَدَ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا مِنْكُمْ وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ لَيَسْتَخْلِفَنَّهُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ كَمَا اسْتَخْلَفَ الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِمْ. So when the favor of prophethood is discussed, Allah never tells us that you as a whole are my prophets. There is just one prophet or two prophets or three prophets, but they are particular persons. They are made best prophets and the rest receive the message. When the sovereignty is discussed, although we know there can't be any sovereignty without one sovereign exercising the power of sovereignty over its own people and as a whole representing the sovereignty of that people over others. Yet the whole nation is addressed as sovereign. Why it is? The fact is that no king is directly appointed by Allah himself. He is not made like a prophet. Allah bestows sovereignty generally to a people and they represent a certain power which belongs to Allah, which Allah lets them exercise by way of trial. And because sovereignty cannot be exercised but through one nucleus, so it is always exercised by one sovereign. But it is the sovereignty of the whole people which Allah has bestowed. Now coming to the verse of Khilafah, the same principle is understood in relation to this verse and in relation to Nabuwah. Allah does not directly appoint a Khalifa, but Allah declares a people to be righteous enough to represent Allah as in Khilafah. Now here the ayat istikhlaf is very distinct from the term Khalifa used about the prophets. As I have made the distinction, I want to dwell upon it a bit further because this is a confusion which is generally found in the minds of Ahmadis. They can't understand how a people could be Khalifa and one man could be Khalifa, how the same word Khalifa could also be applied to the prophets, and yet a prophet is directly appointed. So here the difference is made very clear in this verse. This leads us to the key. The Allah discussing His favors tells us, وَاذْكُرُوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ عَلَيْكُمْ إِذْ جَعَلَ فِيكُمْ أَنْبِيَاءَ وَجَعَلَكُمْ مُلُوكًا. When a direct appointment is made by Allah, it is said جَعَلَ فِيكُمْ. So the first Khalifa, that is Prophet, when that is made, it is not the whole people which are made Khalifa. It is one single person who is made a Khalifa. He creates a people himself. He generates some qualities which when found in certain human beings, Allah declares them to be fit enough now to choose their head, and as a whole they would all represent God in Khilafah. So from then on it is not just a singular appointment of Allah or a direct appointment by Allah, but having made a Khalifa, that is Prophet, the Prophet is spreads out and generates and regenerates. The result is that a people are created by the Prophet, like the phenomena of curd, creating curd around it in the milk. So that whole receives something of the prophetic natures of that first Khalifa. And each one of the Prophet's spiritual creation has a quality of that prophethood, which can't be declared as prophet, but it is some sort of representation of prophethood. So, in the first instance, the whole people deserve to be called Allah's Khalifa. As such, then they exercise their authority and agree upon one single person to represent them. Because like sovereignty, Khilafat cannot also be expressed generally in a diffuse way. Like a people are made sovereign by Allah, yet one single sovereign exercises that authority of the people representing them. So also Khilafat cannot be exercised, generally speaking, by the whole people, where individually and severally, although they are made Khalifa. So no Khalifa can exist without a people who are righteous enough to deserve the Khilafah. This is the point which I am making. This is the ni'mat of Allah which Allah has bestowed upon us. Khilafat cannot be understood, cannot be visualized without there being a pious body of people who as a whole have been adjudged by Allah to be worthy of His representation. This is why the verse of Khilafah, as it is known, Hayat-e-Istikhlaf, begins not with the appointment of the Khalifa but with the quality of the people. It says, وَعَدَ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا مِنْكُمْ وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ لَيَسْتَخْلِفَنَّهُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ كَمَا اسْتَخْلَفَ الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِمْ. Now here Ayat-e-Istikhlaf also widens in meaning and almost tallies with this verse which I have just quoted. Ya qawmi uzkuru ni'matallahi alaykum iz ja'ala fikum anbiya wa ja'alakum muluka. Mulukiyat is also a type of istikhlaf, although of a different nature, but still it is contained in this promise. So this promise also extends into other fields than just the spiritual field. Whenever Allah chooses some people to represent Him and declares them as Khalifa, this favor does not end there. It is bound ultimately to turn into a favor of political superiority of that people as well. That is what happened at the time of Ahmadiyya sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and that is what has always happened at the time of all earlier prophets. The second step, it is bound to come later, and that also is described as favor of Allah, as long as those on whom that favor is conferred deserve that favor. Otherwise, the same favor will turn into something invoking Allah's wrath rather than counting as Allah's favor. So in light of all this broadening meaning of the word favor, now we can understand our own fate better. And this is the reason why I want to discuss this subject further on. I know I have conveyed the important features of this, but because it is a very essential subject which relates directly to Ahmadiyya community and which is going to play a very important role in the future of